Hello, friends. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means it is time for our design discussions. I am so excited to wrap up this month of our discussion of clean sweep. And I know in April is a time where people are just getting their house organized and in order and together. And so I'm really excited to finish out this discussion with you all by talking about how to organize things that you have multiples of. Some would call them collections, others would call it hoarding. Hey, Cam. But it really is a matter of how do you organize the things that you have a lot of. So, for example, in my house, that would be my children's toys. Um, things that you potentially they would be collections. So, like I've had clients in the past who collect teapots or things that they get and acquire through their travels around the world. And so really that's up to you as to what you think you're collecting or have multiples of that you need to store and organize and kind of keep it together. And a great way to do that, which is our last tip for this month, is display them. So you need to store them, right? So you need to keep them in some way, shape, or fashion that's organized, but you can also display them. And so we posted on our Instagram today some examples of how to display things that you have a lot of. So in our house, we are big board game people. So we have a lot of board games, ranging from like the kids' board games all the way up to like adult games, card games. Like we've got a lot of games. So it can kind of be, it can suck up space, a lot of space. And so one thing that for things particularly like this that you could potentially display, you put them together and really display them as a collection. And so one of the examples on our Instagram today is a way that you can display those board games or even collector items, or if your son collects Hot Wheels or race cars or whatnot. These are great ways to be able to display them and organize them. So you're doing two in one. And then they have a special place. People can kind of see things that are special and near and dear to you, but they're also organized. So you're killing two birds with one stone again. Like we talked about last week with multi-purpose furniture, this is great because you're finding a way to organize it, but you're also putting on display things that you collect. So they must be important to you. And it's something that is a, critical part of your life or a fun part of your life or an exciting part of your life. And so why not display that? So today we're just kind of talking about ways to display those and finding out what makes sense based off what you're displaying. So the examples that we use for board games. So, a lot of board games come in different sizes, shapes. They're not always, super uniform, like maybe, toy cars or something like that could be. So when you're displaying that, you have to think about ways to display that so that you'll be able to accommodate for a variety of sizes. So say you have a set of bookshelves and, you're like, I don't want my games to be out because people never put them away the right way and so forth and so on. So, make the display or the storage of those particular games, make that asymmetry of like the long boxes, the fat boxes, the, short boxes, make that part of the display, like put it together so that, you are able to build on that knowing that it's going to be asymmetrical and that it's going to, that you're factoring that in. So those are the kind of things you have to think about when you're thinking about display and things that are not always necessarily going to be uniform or the same or succinct. Thinking about how you can play on that asymmetry so that it looks nice and you're being intentional about that and you're not having to stress later like, oh, I have to organize all the long games with all the short games with all the, boxy games, like, take into consideration that they're all going to be different, and how can I display that so that that's integrated into being intentional about how they're displayed. So sometimes it's nice to have, instead of like a uniform shelf, if you're doing, shelving to display your games, then do like a shelf that has like, asymmetric heights, or, has like a long shelf and a short shelf. Like, make it so that it kind of plays into what you're storing. Another example that we put on our Instagram today was the toy cars. So being very creative, you take an old bike tire or something like that, to that extent, and putting, small shelving and sliding that into the tire, you're then able to display the cars. You have somewhere you can tell your kids to put those so that they know where they go, and they're not always on the floor, or, always somewhere that you're stepping on them. So those are fun ways that you can organize and also display the things that really are major players or major parts of your life. So that's wrapping up our Wednesdays this month. And next month, we're going to get into something really beautiful. So let's, this month was kind of, not more rigid, but, cleaning up, organization is not always like super fun, but, there's creative ways to do it and more intentional ways to do it. Next month, we're going to have a little bit more fun with the topic. So I look forward to seeing you all. And if you have any questions or want to know more about our tips, please go to www.desired-designs.com, which is our website. And we have our tips posted underneath our design discussion blog. You can go there to find out more information. And you can also follow us on Instagram, desired_designs. And we constantly post ideas or site photos, things that we're doing. So we'd love to have you along for the journey as we go through these crazy design shenanigans. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're having a great hump day, because it's hump day, okay? And we're that much closer to my favorite day of the week, Friday. So see you guys next week. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Bye.